Hi guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about discovering and creating opportunities. Now, as we know, opportunities are everywhere. In some instances, it might be just in front of you, and all you have to do is take it. Now, before we proceed, I have three success stories to tell you. First, in the 19th century, Clarence Birdseye discovered a basis for an entirely new type of operation for producing frozen food. Now, initial efforts to freeze meat and vegetable commercially was unsuccessful because the process took many hours and the food lost its texture and flavor. Now, he observed that the Inuit Indians practiced a quick freezing fish method which retained the flavor when the fish was subsequently cooked. Now, Birdseye developed the technology to reproduce this process commercially, but initially, his business was financially dropping or is experiencing financial failure because of the skepticism on the part of the consumers. Now, Birdseye continued perfecting his idea by developing a process of packaging food in cartons and quick freezing the contents under pressure. Now, the frozen food industry was born. Now, he sold his company to acquire resources to launch a successful campaign to produce or to convince consumers of the benefits of the concept. Now, the company became a commercial success, and of course, it changed how we consume and we package food in the middle of the century. Now, this is a very good example of you sticking to your ideas and perfecting your product or your procedure. Even though you are experiencing skepticism or you are experiencing failures, of course, you just perfect the process of your products or you perfect the skills in providing service. Now, my next story is about a man named James Dyson who created a new type of bagless vacuum cleaner after recognizing that the suction in his traditional vacuum cleaner became inefficient when the cloth bag was filled with particles. Now, there was already a long-established vacuum cleaner market, but the new patent technology developed by Dyson fundamentally changed how the demand for labor-saving household cleaning devices was met. Through the long and costly process of developing the new technology, which included borrowing 600,000 pounds to set up his company and developing some 500 or 5,000 prototypes, Dyson had to make the judgment that his idea would eventually work and that there will be a market for it. Now, this story is very interesting. It's like sticking to your guns. There is already an established market, but you know that your technology will improve or even challenge that particular market. And hence, becoming a success story by sticking to his principles and developing, again, perfecting the technology. Okay? Of course, Dyson now has a very large product portfolio, not only vacuum cleaners, but also other household appliances. My last story is about Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of the social networking site Facebook. Now, I know that you know the background of Mark Zuckerberg, but if you can just indulge me. Okay? Now, Zuckerberg had developed a reputation as a computer programming prodigy. Now, prior to developing the idea for Facebook, he had used this skill to develop other sites for fun. That included an online directory containing details of students in his university dormitory. By 2010, Facebook had an estimated 500 million users worldwide. And today, there are 2.89 billion users of Facebook, and over 73 million of those users are Filipinos. And the company is worth around $1.21 trillion. And of course, its founder, Zuckerberg, is worth around $130 billion. Now, all three stories that I told you, the people that created these entrepreneur companies are doubtlessly regarded as such, entrepreneurs. But their paths actually differ from each other. Now, these examples illustrates the similarities in the general functions of entrepreneurs and the differences in the development of their entrepreneurial opportunities. One created a new system for frozen foods, hence creating a new way of dealing with a particular product line. The second already has um, an established market, but what he did, his invention actually challenged that market. And the other one actually okay, carving his own market. Of course, Facebook now is not only social networking and connecting with your friends, it has become a very large business, and in a way, it inculcated in our roots, and society has changed because of it. Now, entrepreneurs can be recipients of pure profit. The three stories, of course, they all became millionaires and even billionaires. Okay? Which is their reward for bearing the cost of the uncertainty or the risk. Okay? We can say that the uncertainty bearing as the true functions of an entrepreneur. Uncertainty relates to distribution when the outcome is not known. Okay? Risks also relates to the distribution of the outcome in a group of instances that is known either through calculations based on theoretical debunctions or statistic of past experiences. Now, of course, we can calculate risk, or we have this thing called calculated risk depending on how much effort or money or time you put on it. Of course, the effort and time and money that you put on your particular business is going to be either rewarded or wasted. Now, that is the risk. Okay? Now, in a way, the ultimate function of an entrepreneur is to be a calculated risk taker. Okay? Now, entrepreneurs require foresight and command over resources if they are to back their judgment. They have to do research. They have to have the knowledge in order to take those calculated risks. And how do we minimize that risk? Of course, by looking for capitalists or people who found or share funds in order to minimize your risk. And also, you must have your own plethora of knowledge and experiences, okay, in order for you to foresee, okay, risks or even avoid pitfalls along the way. Perhaps the biggest debate about what entrepreneurs do concerns whether they discover opportunities that already exist or whether they create them. Now, some entrepreneurs discover business opportunities by being alert to the gaps in the market. Now, entrepreneurs are alert to what we call market disequilibrium. Or, for examples, products demanded by consumers are not being supplied at an appropriate price. So, a business opportunist or an entrepreneur actually creates another product to supply that kind of demand. And in a way, they notice how to exploit that gap in the market. By exploiting the gap in the market, an entrepreneur's firm can move an industry towards equilibrium. The entrepreneurial mindset is composed of alertness that facilitates rapid discovery and exploitation of opportunities, even those that are highly uncertain. Some entrepreneurs discover business opportunities by searching for them. So they manufacture business opportunities. Some entrepreneurs constantly look for market problems and evaluate solutions to these problems. Now, that's what we call serial entrepreneurs, that even though they have their own business and their business is doing very well, now, they can't help but to look for solutions to the problems that they are encountering, hence creating other business opportunities. And some entrepreneurs accumulate experience and knowledge. And of course, the possession of that knowledge provides opportunities for creative discovery. Okay, now these kinds of entrepreneurs are they have again a plethora of knowledge that they can actually go to when they have or when they experience challenges, hence again creating new business opportunities along the way. Okay? An entrepreneur recognizes an obvious opportunity for profitable trade and has the ability, based on their knowledge, to exploit that opportunity. So when an entrepreneur, for example, when he sees or she sees an opportunity or a way to provide another business opportunity or a way to form another business, he or she jumps on that chance and in a way exploits that opportunity. Okay? Further, an entrepreneur is able to identify suppliers, customers, and acts as the intermediary, taking advantage of the opportunities to trade. So actually, that's what business is. You know one person that provides a service or a product, and you know one person that has that product or has the skills to provide that service. So, an opportunist or an entrepreneur actually connects the two together. Also, entrepreneurship relates to the sources of opportunities. So, what are these sources? The process of discovery, for example, or the evaluation and exploitation of discoveries or of opportunities, and the set of individuals who discover, evaluate, and exploit them. So they have the keen eye on the discovery of opportunities, of manufacturing their own opportunities, and having an eye for talent who has an idea for business, and you will invest in that particular talent in order for you to basically be part of that business opportunities. Now, these experiences can be learned through research, through trial and error, or even if you have a mentor guiding you. But of course, it's up to the person undergoing this process to provide or to decide on the steps he or she must take in order to establish a business. But again, as we know, opportunities are there. You can discover it or you can manufacture it. Now, let's talk about causation or opportunities are discovered. Now, causation relates to individual decision-making heuristics rooted in prediction. So, heuristics are problem-solving rules of thumb. Okay? People may discover new opportunities by first looking at the traditional growth areas of a market and the largest unserved segment of the population in that market. This information aids the discovery of the most promising opportunity, which is the one expected to yield the highest returns after adjusting for potential risks. So, this is the market. So, sino yung naiiwan? So, who are the people who is or who are ignored by this particular market? These are the people. So, what are their needs? And I'm going to be the one who will provide those kinds of needs. Okay? So, discovering opportunities. Now, once the opportunity is selected, individuals can collect additional information, seek external professional advice, go to experts, and even formulate business plans drawing upon market research, feasibility study, and competitive analysis to test whether the identified opportunity is profitable. Now, resources are accumulated and mobilized to establish a business to exploit that opportunity. Now, the entrepreneur adapts to the venture to changing markets, technological, and regulatory conditions over time to ensure that the venture is sustained and basically has competitive advantage over the market. Okay? To put it simply, causation means being sensitive to the things around you because the things around you might end up becoming an opportunity, a sort of eureka moment. Now, let's talk about effectuation or opportunities being created. Okay? Effectuation focuses on using a set of evolving means to achieve new and different goals. Now, effectuators seek to control and shape the future rather than attempt to predict it. This approach is effective under situations of uncertainty. When entrepreneurs have to deal with the future or the unknown or the unknowable. Now, effectuation can evoke creative and transformative tactics such as adding to or subtracting from something existing, reorganizing material that is already there, or decomposing or recomposting. In a way, it's upcycling. Upcycling not just of trash but of ideas, transforming existing artifacts by converting them into new uses, increasing or decreasing or even reordering the relative emphasis of features of a product or a market. Somehow, they can invent, mirror, or twist, or even turn ideas or artifacts inside out to discover new opportunities, deliberately deforming the original idea or concept to create something new, changing the scope of the market by proposing smaller or larger markets, and drawing upon prior experience and memory by associating current trends with some previous problems or opportunities. Okay, at the start of the opportunity creating process, entrepreneurs are assumed to have the incomplete information. Markets, of course, cannot be defined, and consumers are not aware of their future preferences. However, new technologies can emerge, regulatory changes can happen, and available data can be confusing and conflicting. So, what happens is, of course, it's up to these effectuators to somehow adjust the business. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. There's a drug that was developed by Pfizer. The use of that drug, first and foremost, is to regulate blood pressure. So, it actually did the medicine or the product actually gave the result that they need. But they actually had a side effect, or the medicine had a side effect. The side effect was, for males, it produces somewhat of an erection to their genitalia, their penis. So, the executives of Pfizer actually had an idea that maybe even though this drug was developed to address blood pressure problems, so maybe we can market, or maybe we can market it to another consumers or to another market line. Basically, the market, they created a new market for it. They created a market for this particular drug as a drug that helps men with their sexual virility. Hence, Viagra was born. Okay? So imagine the process that the medicine took to become what it is right now. So again, that's seizing, or that's manufacturing or creating opportunities. Okay? Now, let's talk about the 5 principles of effectuation. Okay? The first is bird in the hand principle. The effectuators are assumed to use existing means and ask questions relating to who I am, what do I know, and whom do I know. Then, they decide what is possible to do with an existing range of competencies, resources, and network available, and what new firms and markets can be created with the available resources and competencies. So, this is what I have. This is what I can provide. So, what can I do with this? Who can benefit from this? Or, to put it simply, who will buy this? Okay? Is it the person next to me, or is it my neighbor, or is it a person from another city or even another country? Okay? So, what can I do with these products? Now, effectuators do not wait for the perfect opportunity. Okay? It creates and transforms existing resources in order to generate new opportunities from mere possibilities. It is also assumed that the creation of a new market might be a result of an accident or serendipity, hence like the Viagra example. Effectuators produce a new market even when they did not intend to, as an initial goal. Now, venture goals emerge during the transformation process. Now maybe you're thinking about this particular product addressing this particular issue or this particular need. But then when the process takes place, when the product evolves, iba na pala. It will address certain needs but for different people. Okay? So, effectuation. Second, affordable loss principle. It's very simple. Effectuators are assumed to focus on what they can afford to lose rather than try to predict the ideal return for each opportunity. So, you cannot just simply say, I'm going to make 1 million out of this product. So, the thinking is, when this product is not bought, how much loss will I take? So, affordable loss. Next is the crazy quilt principle. Now, they form partnership with stakeholders willing to make real commitment to jointly create the future relating to effectuators, products, firms, and market. Now, effectuators view consumers as partners and quickly sell directly to them in order to learn. So, this is where consumer research or market research comes in. So, what does a consumer want? What does a consumer need right now that is not being addressed? Ito yun. So, this is it. So, I'm going to create a product that addresses this kind of need. Okay? Effectuators prefer to create initial target market segment prior to analyzing the competitor. So, customers muna rather than the competitors. Now, they develop, shape, and define the market themselves. Okay? Next, lemonade principle. Effectuators convert contingencies into resources. Embrace surprises that arises for uncertain situations and remain flexible rather than fixate on existing goals. Now, they focus on unanticipated ends rather than pre-selected goals, which enables them to turn the expected into a valuable opportunity. Right? So imagine if an executive in Pfizer said, no, this is how we designed this product, so this is how we're going to sell it, regardless of its side effect. This is for blood pressure, so we're going to sell this drug as a blood pressure medicine. So, do you think that the drug would have been as popular as it is right now? Of course not. Okay? So, if there is lemon, or if there is a lemon, so you can create lemonade. Last, pilot in the plane principle. Effectuators do not waste time predicting because they co-create rather than forecast the future. So I cannot wait for what's going to happen in the future. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shape that future. Okay? Now, I want to talk about another factor that basically is connected to effectuation. This is called bricolage. Entrepreneurs may engage in entrepreneurial bricolage if they are located in a resource-sparse environment. So, bricolage actually means making do with what you have. Okay? It is about applying or making do by applying combinations of the resources at hand to new problems and opportunities. Now, some entrepreneurs refuse to be constrained by limitations. They improvise. They combine existing resources for new purposes and collect together bits and pieces and somehow create a new opportunity in the process. Now, entrepreneurs can recombine elements such as physical resources, labor, skills, competencies, customers, markets, etc. And with this, they have or they can create something new to sell to whichever is in need of that product or that service. Now, bricolage considers how entrepreneurs in resource-constrained environments make or find opportunities by exploiting institutional, social, and physical resources. Okay? Somehow, they are rejected by other entrepreneurs. So, another example that I can give you with this is Barrio Fiesta and the discovery of the Crispy Pata. So, the foot part or the wrist part, I don't know, the hock part of the pig feet, so to speak, were disregarded before. So it was chopped off and it was disregarded. But one of the owners of Barrio Fiesta actually boiled it and then fried it and actually made it into pulutan. And it became more and more popular. Hence, now, it became or it was included in their menu and the popularity grew and grew. Hence, having the product Crispy Pata that we enjoy and love during special occasions. Okay, so that's bricolage. We don't use this anymore, but this particular product can have another use and can be sold by or can be sold as another product. Now, bricolage can be applied to all four effectuation process in parallel. Okay? Or it can be used during one effectuation process step. So what are these processes? Actually, we have been discussing the process. So step one, of course, during effectuation process, bricolage is applied when effectuators seek to answer the questions, what do I have? Okay, this is the only thing that we have. How much money do we have? How much resources do we have? Okay, so we have to make do with what money and what resources we have. Step 2, during step 2, effectuators decide what can I do and the affordable loss with the current pool of resources, knowledge, and skills. And people living where there are formal institutional voids can break the law and use informal and informal institutions and pay bribes to obtain resources, for example. So, what I'm trying to say is that, okay, this is what you have. What can I do with the resources that I have with me? How can I provide service, or how can this resource become profitable to me? Okay, during step 3, effectuators can accumulate resources by developing strategic alliances and links with competitors. Further, they can accumulate resources by contacting friends or to become customers and ensuring customers become friends. Okay, now I have this product, so who can I sell it to? Okay, so first, let's start with, of course, your parents, your friends. Okay, now, um, then comes the organic distribution or the organic process of referrals. Okay? So, the friend, oh, this is good. I'm going to refer to, I'm going to refer you to another friend, etc. Then, the business grows. Okay? Or in some instances, you can partner up with a competitor. Okay, you can buy this product or I can provide you with the raw materials and you can sell my product. Okay? Now, during step 4, effectuators can set new goals and find new means that he or she can use for contingencies to ensure opportunity exploitation. Okay? So, in a way, this is recombining resources for new purposes and refusing to be constrained by limitations. Of course, let's say, for example, you have a t-shirt business or you're doing t-shirts. Of course, when you cut t-shirt patterns, there are a lot of retazos or there are a lot of leftovers. Now, what else can you do with that leftover? One, you can throw it away, or two, you can make something that you can still sell so that you can it can still be profitable. Okay? Now, of course, there are links between the effectuation process and the bricolage action. Okay? So, please study the table in front of you to connect these processes. Okay? But effectuation and bricolage are connected because as you progress through the process of creating your own business, you will encounter challenges along the way. And bricolage is a way for adjusting and reacting to those kinds of challenges by providing ways on how to improvise and make do with the resources that you have. Okay? Finally, my last note is opportunities are everywhere. May it be discovered or created. Now, your job, the job of the entrepreneur, is to recognize and capitalize on it. Now, if you have any questions, your questions will be addressed during our synchronous sessions, or you can send them via course message or email. So that ends my video. Thank you very much and keep safe.